nice and early.
Good morning to you, Apostle.
Good morning, my dear. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And yourself?
I'm good. How is the weekend and the week so far?
It's been okay.
Okay.
Ndukunzwa kunetha.
Ndiye mkwashira ndona manje. Muntala chukwadi ndini kwako.
Nay, Apostle.
Akuvunzo zvangu. Ausundibudira pachena. Nyazondibudira pachena niyazoziya kuti.
Upi kone vangawanda vangu vari muno masikuzoni kutaura upasha.
Kaya kangaveka sutu yake. 3-piece sutu.
Yeah. Asi mamufarira.
Ngakachena we.
Mamufarira bhoza ngakachena.
Yeah. Next week ndikuenda kapfeka 3-piece yangu.
Imangomufarira bhoza ngakachena.
No, that he is good looking.
So you like him because he dresses well, he's good looking.
Yeah, nangachinwirira zviripo.
Okay.
I don't know other things, but yeah. But mama muchisekerana zve. Ndaona ka chemistry bichana.
I'm not doing this with you, Apostle. No, now people want to know who it is. We're not even going to mention
Sorry,
names.
guys, if I see that person again, I'll take a picture and I'll look for them after this and take a picture, post it on the Power FM page.
Nah. Anyway, how are you doing, Apostle? Good to have you in the studio.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And of course, it is the Relationship Clinic each and every Wednesday right here on Power FM Zimbabwe, 12 minutes past 11 o'clock. So we actually also get to live stream this on our Facebook page at Power FM Zimbabwe. So you can also get to check it out, all right? And get to come through with your contributions and your comments, your opinions as well. They're all welcome, either by giving us a call or coming through on our WhatsApp platform number 0712-831-172. You can actually give us a call as well on 498-652 and 498-654. So Relationship Clinic basically is a program that's just there to help out, with the relationships that we get to face in our lives. It could be, a relationship with you and your partner, your family members, your workmates, whatever type of relationships that are actually built in life, because you do not survive, by yourself. You don't operate as a silo. So these are some of the things that we actually get to tackle. And Apostle is professional counselor, actually. So he's actually here to help us. And today we're going to be talking about our different backgrounds, where we actually come from. I wonder the person out of something here. Could the different backgrounds where we actually come from, and how they actually affect us, in our relationships that we have in the long run, especially the ones whereby you guys want to get married. Does your background play a role in how your relationship will actually get to survive?
Mm-hmm. Okay, now you've got don't say I'm going deep, because I'm not going deep. I just want to give a foundation to this thing. Do you know when the Bible says that a man reaps what they sow? In life generally, there's what we call the cycles of harvests in as far as life is concerned. When whatever you do or whatever you did yesterday affects what happens to you tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And do you know that you can actually go into a setup where you find yourself with a person who has got a bumper harvest in certain areas of their lives? Maybe it could be positive or it could be negative, because in life generally what you actually do will pursue you. We talk about karma, certain things that have been done by someone. Generally someone can be in debt, and you get married or you start a relationship with them, and or they're coming from a family which does not have good values, and you get hooked up with that person, and you've looked at the surface of the person's life, but you haven't really looked deep enough to see, where am I really getting myself into? Because the Bible says, whatsoever man soweth that he reapeth. And we also talk about things that our parents did that can affect us. And you are coming from a certain background, and all of a sudden you are entangled with someone who has come from a place which is really messed up, and there are issues that they haven't dealt with personally, and then there you are, you get in that system, and all of a sudden you find yourself being affected by what someone did yesterday, or just the background of who they are, maybe how they grew up, the values, the norms that they had as they were growing up. When you're relating, I mean, maybe you're still having a relationship, these are things that you should probably check and see what is behind this person. Who is this person I'm dealing with? Three pieces who is this person that I'm with? Do you understand your partner in the spiritual sense? Not only in the spiritual sense, but you also understand your partner in the physical sense. There are certain things that a person does that are normal to them, but they may not show it every time. But once you're in the relationship, they start showing these things, and yes, we can pray about them, but have you actually looked deep enough into your partner to see if there's anything that tomorrow can affect you as a person in as far as the norms and values of where you're coming from is concerned?
Okay, now people may be thinking, what does apostle mean when it comes to norms and values? We are all, we are Zimbabweans. We know that there's the basis to this, the basic stuff, and each and every person has to follow this. So when you talk about norms and values, Apostle, maybe if you can actually explain to us what you mean exactly.
Yeah, when you're talking about norms and values, when you talk to class teachers, they're very exposed to what I'm talking about. You get into a classroom, kids whose language differs. Some are foul-mouthed because of the background they're coming from. And some have got strange eating habits. Some have got certain ways of addressing themselves which is not respectful to the next person. And you are now coming from a place where you've been reared properly, proper. Your mother did not allow anything foul to come out of your mouth. And all of a sudden, you just getting yourself into this relationship where someone, last time we spoke about when someone shows signs of violence, and things just don't happen. Things happen because of who we are, and who we are is because of where we came from. Our backgrounds matter, and we behave in certain ways because of where we grew up. There are certain geographical areas that behave in a certain way, and you find sometimes people can ignore these things. But as a counselor, you find, Kuti, maybe 5 years down the line, there are seasons of marriage. There is the springtime, and everything is nice and flowery. And then you get to the summer. The flowers are not just going to grow. They need a bit of water. And you get into the winter. The leaves are dying. There has to be a lot of maintenance. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. And you go back again into your autumn when things are starting to be resuscitated. There are cycles of things that happen in marriage. And in those cycles, certain things are exposed in a certain season. There are things that you can go through the first year of your relationship. And then after some time, relationships, instead of getting better at times, they get more challenging, and they need a lot of effort to dig into them. But there are things that are more difficult to deal with because of the nature of the person that is being, where the problem is coming from, probably how they grew up. And you are clashing over values. And you are now worried, you know what? And someone wants you to change, and they want you to stoop to their level. But so how then do you as a person begin to deal with these things? It's too late. What open a marriage and but to talk about how do we address those problems? And if you're still dating, what do you do when you find out that these are contrasting views? Can you deal with them? Because some of them, vanozoda kuchinja munhu utonzwa kuti shama ini yora unitambisa ndiitambe ndiye kumba kwenyu imi.
It's interesting that you actually brought, as you're talking, in my head, a lot of scenarios are actually running in my head. A lot of scenarios. Ndafunga, like you talked about, someone is aggressive. Maybe they grew up in their family and they realized that, that's how their parents would relate to each other. They would be aggressive at each other if they were talking to each other or if they had a dispute. And then in your head, because as a child, you learn these behaviors from a young age and you grow up with them, you start to think that this is the normal way of communicating with someone. When we disagree, the next thing is talk to serious.
Can I tell you a story?
Yeah, go ahead.
When I got married to my wife, I think the second, third year, me and my young brother were at beef, yeah? So we started fighting. And my young brother got to badza. And to her, it was like a horror movie, you understand what I'm saying? And the next day she sees me and my brother, we're talking. But she's saying, hey, wait a minute. This guy wanted to kill you yesterday. Already, she was coming from a background where she had not seen such.
Yeah.
And now she's exposed to it. So these are things that people come from different backgrounds. And I'm just mentioning an aspect, but it can be spiritually, it can be physically, it can be the way that you talk, the way that you eat, the way that you resolve problems, and you're coming from a different cultural or traditional view in as far as dealing with issues are concerned.
Is it not sometimes you actually notice that, maybe I'm really not aligned with this person, but you feel like you can sort of change them to sort of suit your values and your norms, that you think that this is how it's supposed to be? Is it not that we can actually see them? I believe we can actually see these things. And then you're like, oh, but don't worry. I need this red flag, but chamu some line. Don't get this.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest challenge with most women. They do think they can change people, but that old statement you could no yenga no wala. Anogona kumbo kuchinjira. But kana usiri munhu manje aniyasoona manje, if you're not discerning kuti unyazonzwisa kuti problem ikai ichiripo here kana kuti yakaenda kana kugona kumbonyura kuti kuenda kuita chamunyurududu mvura. And then later on, kana wapa position manje kunzi, you are now at a place maybe irretrievably alleged. They're thinking that you're irretrievable. Maybe you are never two, and the muna akubudisa ma true colors ake. And you've been a bit careless about that issue, and you probably thought it was nothing, but it can affect you tomorrow.
All right, that's fine. We'll be taking your contributions, either on our WhatsApp platform number, or you can come through on our calling lines. Remember, we're also live on Facebook. That is at Power FM Zimbabwe, so you can also get to check this one out, all right, on our Facebook page at Power FM Zimbabwe. So, Apostle, fine. I know, we can talk about how you can actually get to see these things, and then sometimes we choose to ignore them. And now we are in this particular situation. You're now married to this person. Now wakutonoti inikana chifamba ne robe mu passage ndakutonzi zvandruita zvakashata, but ndo zvandakakura nchizoti, you can wear your morning gown or your morning robe and you can walk around in the house with it. But then my partner seems to have a problem with it. But
yeah.
To me it's normal to walk around with a robe. How then do you deal with watombo wamu marriage atingangobuda kabhoza azonditsamwira ndafambire nechirobe? Is it a matter of compromising so that you guys can meet at the same level, or there are other things that you can actually get to do?
I think, first of all, if you're still dating, you have to understand the size of the challenge that you're probably getting yourself into, and think about it and see what is the worst case scenario that could happen to me with regards to this position in munhu uyu. Is it something that you value, that your liberties and your freedom, ufamba wakapfeka ko gown rako, and but was this a situation kuti hazvichakwanisika, and the other deeper issues that you could also take into consideration. But if you're married now, there's two routes. If you're a prayerful person, I always think prayer is the easiest route to resolve problems, because prayer would jump the counseling side and it will just affect the next person, and you guys can be aligned proper. But most cases, people don't know how to pray, and probably they also don't pray. So they would want practical probably methods of how to deal with these situations. The first thing I would probably say is if you find out that your partner is not negotiating with a certain aspect of things that you consider important to you, or maybe they're doing something that is affecting you and they think you are the one who is to compromise, I think you need to sit down and talk about this thing, because marriages are not broken by big things. They are broken by little things that they've got small little differences, and we put hedges around those small little differences, and you continue putting hedges, and there's a feeling you want to control my life. You want to be like a teacher in my life, and I want my freedom as a man. And you continue building certain barriers around things that you expect me to do, things that you want me to do. Maybe I've got weaknesses here and there, but I don't want you to be like my mother when you correct me. I want you to be like a friend and help me out in those things if you feel that there's a problem. So talking about things is one of the best methods that you can do. Have time to sit down and understand what it is that is a problem, and is that problem worth being the problem? If you understand what I'm saying. You come to a place yamunotaura kuti okay, ichi atina a way that we can resolve this problem. But unokuwanisa nichinji diki kunetsana nekuti toothpaste yatanga kusvinirwa chine pakati instead of pasi, but toothpaste yomuri kuishina ka1 pazuva. Vamwe takazovasetla tichingoti no, tenga yako yatenga yake uyasvinyira yake masvina say.
Apostle.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
all right.
What would you do if you were in that situation as Miss Rach?
Inini problem yangu ka is flight. Nobody problem yangu.
You don't fight, you flight.
I got no time for this, my guy. That's my problem. But I guess that's sort of, sometimes feel like, they can try and fight this, and then some people feel like they if it's just not aligned with them, they want to flee. And that's the first thing that comes to their mind. If you really think about it, it was the fact that maybe they tried to talk about it and it didn't work out, and they're like, you know what, I might as well just leave and go. And like you're saying, it could be the smallest of things. Like maybe how you address me, and then you go, no, but this is how I'm supposed to address you as my own, okay? So you'll find that these things can be quite crazy. Like we've got a message here saying that, Rachel, I'm in this scenario, auntie, and I'm in the same scenario. Kugeza chaiko anzi, because you want to and I'm supposed to dress amai vake. I'm not allowed to wear clothes that actually show my age, or like the clothes that my peers actually wear. Kuisa underwear panzi to dry it. Panzi chaipo. To dry underwear. Anti udot wonekwa nani brugwa iro rawu dry panzi. And it's been 10 years in marriage and I'm not enjoying it. Ndo ita say. Zvanabotaura zvezve Apostle kuti ndiri kunzi ndikufamba ndiri ine robe. Ukufambira ine robe udoti anaoni. Isitoziva ka alright, zvinodependa kuti makakurira kupi. Isitoziva kuti underwear inoiswa chi? Panzi. Vamonesa because kana vasina panzi bekuisa vamonesa bathroom. Hanti. Then vamonovwa kuti aiwa kana uchiyanika underwear panzi chisa nekatauro pamusoro kuti saonekwe. But kumwe kwakavharika mayadi vanongoyanika zvakadaro because it's just an underwear. So you like you were saying, it's the small things. But when you're not enjoying the marriage because you feel like it's constantly coming down on you, what do you do?
Yeah. First of all, the issue of flirting with flighting is something that I always would say to a person, don't flirt with that thing, because it's. I also come across a lot of incidences of where people who are flirting with this issue of flighting. And don't use that as leverage for your relationship. It's a matter of emotional intelligence collapse, where you're not being intelligent enough to know that this is your home. If anyone has to leave, let it be the other person. Don't flirt around with leaving your territory, because what you would have done in leaving, you'd have said a lot. You'd have put in a lot of concessions. I'm leaving and I'm going home. It's like, this is not my place.
I beg to differ, Apostle.
Papa Pago.
Papa Pango, but
Yeah.
Pane Pango, if I don't leave, I'm not doing myself any favors.
It's good when you deliberately just go away from the tense in Ingeri Banditika, from the toxic environment, but leaving your place as a threat of saying I'll leave you and going maybe to your mother's house. There's a lot of things that you'd have said there. You'd have said that this is not my place. There are so many other ways that you can deal with situations like this, and it's not a matter of you just packing your bags and going to your mother's house, packing your bags, going to your sister's house, packing your bags. You can't continue doing that. You have to confront the demons that are before you. What is the problem? Have you talked about the problem? Have you spoken about how much this problem affects you and hurts you?
You can be in a position whereby you've talked, okay, fine. Looking at what we're talking about, values and your backgrounds and everything like that. Mm-hmm. Let me give an example, hypothetically speaking, or we can actually use an example whereby, this person is verbally abusive towards you, mm-hmm. right? And you've actually spoken to them. Mm-hmm. Listen, whenever you get angry, you get so emotional to the extent and I'm not very comfortable with it. Is there any other way that we can actually get to resolve this? Maybe if you find that, we are fighting and we're in a tense situation and you're at the point why is it not best you maybe walk out of the house and then come back when you're calm, and then we can talk about this when we're both calm, mm-hmm. right? That's a solution, right? You come up with a solution, the both of you are bobo. Next thing, you're back to square one. Tapina mvite munu yawe mai vako ndi akundituka futi but sakambotaura nezvasvoka. Saka inini ndosafa 10 years 20 years ndichitukirwa amai vangu ndichitukwa zvinyadzi nenyaya yekuti zvoni I cannot just leave my territory.
Yeah.
You see, there's small things and then there are big things.
Yeah. I think problems have got categories in themselves, and you find kutambotaura kuti kana uchiri kudata anditika like imi muchiri kudata, there are certain things that you can think they are small. So before you get yourself embroiled in things that are going to affect you tomorrow, you have to, I think flight is best there.
Okay.
Yeah, flight is best there. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about marriage, we're talking about destiny. And to all the single people out there, make sure that you have thought it out clearly and you have seen what this person, I'm not perfect. Their weaknesses are things that I can contain and we can try and work them out. But if you find that there are things that you first personally think that I can't live with these things, like some of the things that you're saying, okay, muchiri boyfriend and girlfriend, that thing will destroy you. It's better you just jump out before you get yourself involved into something that is going to make you a laughing stock of the city. Your relatives will talk about you because you're constantly leaving your house. So if you're single, get out. If you're married, make sure that you nip this thing at the bud. Sometimes you must understand the battle that you're going into. What are the spoils if I win it? What am I going to benefit? Is it something that I can live with without it interfering with my life? Or is it just your appetite to be a control freak, that you just want certain things to be in a certain way? There has to be compromises in some instances where you look at the person, but the fact, this is the way you are, I don't like it. And then there are things that affect you, and that is what you must put on the table. Do you notice that when you do this, it's affecting me in this way? And I don't want to be affected by what you... What that smile? But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Apostle and Rachel, how are you guys doing? Anza shina toothpaste anza pakatwetu womejishwa. It's very annoying. How does someone actually do that? And karoti munano siya vudzi pasipo uningo shedza kuita say. I'm in that scenario. Ndakatozongona kuti zvitori board zvekuti munhu nesipo yake.
Kana usiya babriga mu studio kana bibachi pe.
Karoti, munhu ne toothpaste yake.
Yeah.
And yeah. But unozongona munhu futi akubata yako futi. Ndo mabetos amamuchiti we should just let them slide because hapana.
makaita tuma toothpaste mapedza nyaya. Pane zvimwe zvekuti, you know what, you can't, there are things that people grow up in homes which are meticulous. They look at things, very small things. Your mother is saying no to that, no to this. You're now used to it, and you are now used to the lifestyle. You leave no stone unturned. And then all of a sudden you come across this guy. I don't want to see a budzage. Pamwe dziri pakati pe room handitika nemanika zake pamwe ari pakati pe room ubva abuda enda kubasa. Iwo manje because amai vako vangu vane a certain stance yekuti zvinhu zvakadai so zvinogona kureverwa munhu. What iwo zvatomaurika kutoti these things this is a grievous, this is a big crime. When I see things like this, it's a big crime. And you take a culture from your home and you put it straight into your house. And you're mad about a culture violation that you had kumba kwenyu na mai vako. And iwo wakutoda kuda kusiya imba yako nekuti munhu asiya manika zake pa floor and asiya bhudzi akabva enda kubasa. Iwo mfungwa dzako manje utoziya kuti dai kwangu kuri kumba kwangu na mai vangu zvakadai so hataizvitolerate. But wakanhonga wakaisa paside wakata say you lose nothing.
But anojairira.
But is it?
But anojairira because munhu needs to learn. They need to learn.
But how are they going to learn? Are you going to teach them? Okay, this is your husband, Anditika. Are you going to put tension in your home because underwear siwa pasi? Ne budza siwa pasi. So sometimes you must choose your battles. Maybe your ego will be dented, but yoga ndipatutaraka emotional intelligence. Zvimwe zvinhu ndatange tambofunga first tatanga kunyazovava. Unoona kuti vanhu vanopinda mu counseling session. Otanga kuudzwa kunzi no zvavanoita vanozosiya maunderwear avo ari pa floor nebhutsu dzavo masocks all over the place kana vakadya mukitchen havadai. And I'm not saying that men should do that, but I'm saying is it worth you guys fighting over such an issue? Is it worth it?
But munhu ngadzidzo kuva smart. Dzidzo unoda kunongera kuti
anodzidza kuti smart handitika.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Apostle?
Yeah.
I'm not okay with it. I can pick up your underwear, I can pick up your shoes, I can pick up your socks and your clothes that you left on the floor 2, 3, 4 times. All right, that's okay.
Yeah.
But it cannot become a habit that I let you get away with just because I'm trying to have peace in my house. This is something that really annoys me because I feel like, as an adult, you should be responsible enough to know, Kuti, there's a bathroom and there's the washing basket. If I just put my things in the washing basket, everything will be okay. I will pick them up 4 or 5 times, but I'll also let you know that what you're doing is wrong. And on the other hand, are you also being considerate of how I feel about these things? Or it's just, that's your own problem. This is how I grew up, so you should just accept it as it is. Is it about us creating our own environment whereby we both respect each other with our own values and our own backgrounds that we've come with? Or is it about just one compromising to the other just because they're trying to save the marriage? It's a very good question, that one.
I do accept it's a very good question, and I would, like when the way I grew up, there's 6 boys in my family, and these are things that were a usual occurrence. All over the place. But when I got married, there's a time when you start noticing, Kuti, I don't want to inconvenience my other party, and I also don't have anything to lose by just making sure that I clean that mess and I just do what I need to do. And but in the case Yakuti, it doesn't happen. Do we have to make a big issue out of it? Even if it's a repetitive aspect. I've got my guy, the emotion, yeah? When he's in the studio, that guy, his studio is always neat. He's always cleaning it up and all. Always neat, always spick and span. You put the other guy, Brendan, you will probably see chairs everywhere, Malara everywhere. But these are guys who are coming from 2 different backgrounds. There are people who are well groomed. Some mothers have done a very good job with their kids, and some mothers have not done a good job with their kids. But what I'm saying is now, should we allow those? Rachel, are we agreeing with these are small things?
Okay, for small things, we can let them get away with.
Are we agreeing that are we agreeing that this is a small thing?
Yeah, it's a small thing.
But it can become a big thing. The way you just asked that question. You asked the question, Saka 1, 2, 3 times I can do it for them. But G4. And what am I doing? Mindset yedu inogona kuzochikudza beyond what it really is.
Apostle. It's not a small issue, this one. 498-652 and 498-654.
It's small issue or the big issue?
It's not a small one.
Is it a big issue or small issue?
Sorry, I missed that. We're going to take your calls, all right? You can actually get to come through on our WhatsApp platform number, or you can actually get to come through, that is on our calling lines as we talk about these things, you know, because they seem small, but they are also big issues, you know? It's the petty things that actually, you know, put people off.
It's the small things. Yeah.
I can imagine if I was to stay with someone who's extremely neat.
Yeah.
I'm not a hoarder, but no chengetashin.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And then there are people who are extremely neat.
Yeah.
Especially in a minimum zvinhu 1 2 3 zvatokwana ini ndoda zvinhu mune zvinhu zvakawanda. It's gonna cause a clash.
Yeah, I like the way you put it now. You only go nomwe munhu manje ariyo manje anda kuona uneka diary kako unokarongeka to the yeah. Uyaziva kuti grocery list yako wanyora, zvisipo wanyora, zvese wanyora, and then all of a sudden auna kunyora oshaudwa zvezvo over those things. If it's not in you, some of these, let's just accept our differences. Let's accept that this is not who I am. I can try my level best to do what I'm supposed to do to make you happy. But if it's not in me, it's not in me.
Let's pick up the phone. Good morning. How are you? Hello. Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And yourself?
Beautiful.
Great. Go ahead, please. Hello. Okay, we've got a bad connection there. I'm going to ask you to try and call us again. Good morning. How are you?
Hello. Good morning. How are you, Rachel?
Fine, thanks. And yourself?
I'm very good.
Great.
You guys are here. I just only turned my radio on, but I'm enjoying the conversation.
Thank you so much for coming through. We appreciate it.
Right. Now, what I want to say, since you do have a man of God in there, we have 1 Samuel chapter 25, which deals about a wise woman named Abigail, whose wife was Nabal. If you look at one thing, Nabal did something that was so stupid, which could actually get everybody else killed by David, right? But what saved the day is Abigail's wisdom. It's just like what the man of God said. Everything, at the end of the day, if you look at it, it boils down to you, Rachel. If you raise your son well and good, there's no way your daughter-in-law is going to have problems with your son. But the thing that is, there is a case where women feel that it's a man's job to raise and bring about these things. Yes, fathers can do it. You know, there are not many. But the most important thing is you guys, women. I'll tell you one thing. I've got so much respect for my mother. She left me when she was 9 years old. That's when she transitioned, right? But the 9 years that I had with my mother, they left a big lifetime impression. I do everything, you know, koroba flow. I don't want to lie to you. I'm a smart guy. But flow, you know, koroba flow, and no clean my place. I do whatever it is. All these things I was taught by my mother. So it's the same thing. You guys, in me, because you are the one who would have failed to do this thing. Teach these brothers. The biggest problem is like it's difficult. You gotta teach a child the right thing. It's easy than to correct a man.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Thanks so much for your contribution. We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. And by the way, one more other thing that I want to say is like, at the end of the day, I believe the most important thing in life is wisdom. But at the end of the day now, it's a scenario of us looking at things from men's philosophical and ideological perspectives. These are the things that are getting us away from the real deal. We are fighting over simple things. If we look at things from God's perspective, God said to men, love your women, love your woman. You hear what I'm saying? Right. There is no way I'll ever do something bad to somebody that I love. Problem is when they are good men of God who agree with me here. God says the woman she's part of a man. This is a rib. In India, abuse a rib. That means in India. So any noble man will never do evil to his woman. I can't sit and watch my woman going through pain without me not feeling pain too. So the most important thing is for each and every one of us to sit down and look at self. What I'm doing to this woman, I'm doing to myself, or what I'm doing to this man, I'm doing it to myself. The most important thing is like if there is love in each and every one of us, then this world will be a very good place. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming through. Definitely appreciate it.
Okay, word up.
Great.
Well spoken. Yeah.
Well spoken, isn't it? Now both. I like the balance of it.
Very good balance.
Yeah. 15 minutes before 12 o'clock, 498-652 and 498-654. Those are the calling lines. Our WhatsApp platform number is 0712-831-172. Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Fine, thanks. And yourself?
I'm okay.
Great. Please go ahead.
But I do agree with the last caller. But can personally speak and this guy? Hakuna what name. What's the problem with the Ninga with the Shamar is as serious and this guy? And then you would what would be? You've raised your voice personal to come and raise the voice of your can personally speak and this guy. Hakuna what name. Tunguramba to cannot say. What if one comes down? And I know I'm sorry for what I've done, and I'm sorry I would know. If you don't accept that apology, what next do you want me to do? If I do something, I'm going to say I'm so better. You are sorry, but in the blood, I end up bad. And once one of those are serious, he's always a person. And not good, Andy. I'm not Jaira. People respect each other. I know I'm sorry. I know it's okay.
But you're not sorry in my actions, guy. We don't muramba mchisi my socks back. I'm going to sorry every day.
Sorry in my actions. That's it. Nothing. Mangwana the water and the pizza. Kuskara mangwana. Running against them and this guy. Sasara she go for that nigga. I got a problem with you. I
Yeah.
Okay.
Respect doing what you are between the two of us. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I know I accept.
All right. Unfortunately, we lost him. 498-652 and 498-654. Good morning. How are you? Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Fine. Thanks. And yourself?
I'm fine.
Great.
I think I agree with Rach Apostle to choose your battles wisely. There are things she's really worth fighting for. Like izo zvekusiya masocks. Ndinongononga kana ndikataura ukasanzwa. Ndinongononga, but when it comes to my abusive behaviors manje, ekuti wakundirova or wakundituka, I think those are izo zvekuti anchakwanisi kugara. It has become an environment that are toxic to me. So, I think it's very important to tawaya my battles to see what is this worth fighting for, or should we, compromise to with an reach a common ground. So that's what I think.
All right. Thanks so much for coming through. I appreciate it.
Okay, bye.
Great. We are getting, different instances that are coming through of these small petty issues. And you realize that the small petty issues, Joshua, are actually turning into big things. Nyayema backgrounds yakangoma. Ini my husband vakakura kumusha anti. Ukada kubiko ka good breakfast wo. Nonzo wakuti daimandisa ritori sads.
Yeah.
Saka it's sadza makseni, sadza maskati, sadza manero. I know it sounds stupid, but you see,
I think you win them out of whatever it is. It's not worth you arguing over the fact you that sadza moxen because sadza but can also itoka substitute you make sure kuti wamba moyo wake kumvisa kusadza moxen. Because remember, some of these things are classical conditioning. They are things that people are used to. and it's not kuti anotoda sadza stereke kupfuura zvimwe zvese, but ndo zvaajaira. And once you do whatever you want to introduce that is new, introduce it in such a way that they get also used to that new scheme, and uchimbonyengera kuti munhu aite se achange. Pane tunhu tudiki tunongonoda kungoshandiswa a bit of wisdom for you to change. And I like what this last lady spoke about, choosing your battles wisely. And even once wanonga ka 10 raji unobve chiko wanonga ka 10 apana chawabva. But chatiri kutaura ndechekuti when these big things are there and you see kuti my relationship is being affected by these big things, you also have to take big moves to correct these big things, which means you are practically putting yourself in a place where you adjust these things. You don't want to go into a place where you suffer because of someone's misdeeds. Someone has been careless in certain ways, and then all of a sudden you become the victim of their misdeeds. So it's very important that we approach these things. My first advice would always be prayerfully. When you pray, a praying wife, a praying husband will always change things. If you're not a prayerful person, that's why you always try and balance it out. You take practical steps. And counseling is not only for people who pray, but counseling chipangamazana kuti tinzwisisane kuti umboona umwe munhu ari kuona from a different angle. Unoti umwe munhu anozongokuudza kuti saka mai nyaya muri kupengereka handifunge kuti iri worth kuti mupenge, because it could be worse. Vamwe vakadzi vari kuchema nenyaya dzavari masurwa mudzimba, imi muri kuchema nemasocks nemanda vari kusiwa pafloor. Akamborara out here murume kuti harare mumba asati ambozviita, akambokurovai asati ambondirova. Kutiona kana kutengerewo here anotenga dzimweni dzenguva are busy kuona the negatives, actually trying to do a forensic on seeing what negatives are operating in this home and not appreciating the good things. That, once your life is focused on the positives and you're not a pessimistic person, always trying to suck out negative energy from a relationship, that's bad. Don't, decide that you're going to be a positive person. Decide that, compliment Rachel's nice hairstyle. Yeah. Compliment the good things that she's done. But what are you going to focus on?
Saka varuma katona takapfeka masocks vasazo.
You never do that.
They might not understand why we wear those socks and whatever, Then they start complaining, I don't got to go socks. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, Raj.
I'm fine, thanks, and yourself?
Yes, you're talking to Lincoln from Savin.
All right, please go ahead with your contribution.
Right. I just want to make a contribution. I'm not a marriage vows. I'm not for better for worse. And did you say that I'm not going to sneer up to get me a standing packet is boa. Go for better and for worse. You content. And this. Right. Possibly in marriage, you got married. Pakasika minimum cards. I got a moon one and did it. Sadoka Namurumo got a problem. You say my socks under a person bed. There's a go. It's your problem. You have to be contented with it. Both Murumu one. So problem yako. You have to solve it amicably. That's my contribution.
All right. Thank you so much for coming through. For better or worse is the truth-based issue. 498-652 and 498-654. We do have 7 minutes before we shut it down exactly at 12 o'clock. And we are still taking your contributions as we talk about this. It's okay. But listen. Good morning. Morning. Musha uribo.
Ukona tisika. Even I agree with the Colombo for now. No matter the Kutika. Wakati what's on this is Nabasa so. And other one wako. Murume I can go for an nana beat. Kutika Natima so please. Won't go for a Kungonoga. But you are rumors and you capacity one foot. Like an Muslim mono. Oh no, this minute of Satamon.
Hello? Yes. Hello?
awufana kufamba wakapfeka mumba amuri tu vanotofamba wakaita sei mumba macho.
So we're just saying that petty issues should just be left alone.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much for coming through.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning. How are you?
Hello, how are you, Rach?
Fine, thanks. And yourself?
I'm all right. I have a burning issue, but it's kind of different from what you are discussing today.
Okay.
Okay. I have a relationship issue. I've been dating this girl for about 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And down the line, she's been helping me now. She's been helping me.
Mm-hmm.
And I managed to build up my company. 6 months ago, I met this girl, and I've been so much in love with her.
You met another girl?
Sorry?
You met another girl?
No, I haven't married. I haven't got married.
No, but you're dating your girlfriend, and then you met another girl?
Yes,
Okay.
I've been dating a girl for 4 years. She's been helping me until I built up my company.
Yeah.
Yes. So I met this girl like 6 months ago, and was so much in love. So the pressure now is from the family. I kind of understand for quite long, for 4 months, for 4 years actually.
Apostle.
So vowed out in Chirora Mwanawao, and they are even willing to give me money, I'm not so much in love with him. Hey, that's I'm now in love with this girl and I 6 months ago.
Asi waimbo in love kapekutanga. Waongori murudo pekutanga.
Yes, I was, and I'm still into, but not the chemistry that I have with the new one that I have.
All right. This is an interesting one. I'll let Apostle answer that in a short while. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Apostle, as much as he's talking about a relationship scenario, this can even also apply to a marriage scenario. Ndiri kuumba ndakutanga kuona ma bad habits emwe wangu anti and in love but andisiri in love zvekudaro ndikuona Rach anofamba akapfeka socks ane chi t-shirt chake chakangobvaruka chaanongopfeka chinongondibhoho. I'm starting to notice these irritating habits about her, or maybe my partner snores and I get very irritated about it. Ndaenda kunzoku interact and there's this spark between us and I'm like, oh my goodness, the spark, I don't have it at home.
New always seems better.
Yeah.
But we talk about, remember I was talking to you about the seasons. There's a certain time frame that I personally advise when it comes to courtship. Don't go into courtship beyond a certain period of time where a season is changing within your courtship, because a relationship, no matter how good it is, it's going to change. So if you date maybe someone for a year, 2 years, 3 years, there's a shift in season, and the idea you have not pinned down, and the deal that is supposed to come out of a courtship is a marriage, and these prolonged marriages are doing animal problems. And if you decide to have a prolonged courtship, make sure, especially as a woman, if you're helping that person, make sure anything that you do, you're willing to lose it. But as long as he's not called your husband, as long as he's still called boyfriend, as I say, I don't want to go tease. Because and isusu akauya kwatiri isusu afundisika kundibvunza kuti baba ndoita sene pakadai ndoti mwanangu kana usati waroora baba zviri nani wabaki pane uzodzimirwa uri nemunhu yeye marriage mako, because a person goes where they feel there is love. But I always advise mukadzi usambofa wakazviroora. Don't ever make that mistake of taking out your money to go and roora yourself, or even borrowing that person. That's number one. Number two, usabatsire business risina mapepa akanyasonyorwa zvakanaka, unovharwa mari yako wakanyura, munotiza wena unororongo mukadzi iwongo chingoti no because we loved each other. Usaite parema ma commitments ka asingadi kuitwa vanhu muchiri boyfriend and girlfriend, unozhamba unochema. But like we did promise, next week let's talk about this issue of diminishing love within the marriage, and also the issue. This scenario,
so it's all about staying attractive. How you stay attractive to each other in the marriage.
Yeah, and how much do you put into the marriage, the relationship? You know, like Rachel is dating a guy. I've got a case right now. This young lady, she helped to buy a car, and the guy married another woman. I don't know, but
Apostle, how can people get in touch with you?
0772-768-913.
All right, this is Power FM, a relationship clinic, back again next week on Wednesday. Definitely looking forward to it. We'll stay. Yeah, we need to talk about how you actually stay attractive or attracted to your person.
Saturday, the